911, the universal emergency number for everyone in the United States and numerous other regions of the world. In 1967, 911 became the national emergency number for the US, allowing anyone to dial the numbers 911 from any telephone to link the caller with an emergency dispatch office who can send first responders to the caller's location in emergency. But what about these dispatchers who speak directly to these panicked callers in life or death situations every day? My name's Anthony Padilla, and today I'm going to be sitting down with 911 emergency dispatchers to learn the truth behind this stressful and potentially traumatizing career. Is the work of a 911 dispatcher truly fulfilling? Or does the constant pain and uncertainty of this job leave these dispatchers feeling like mere shells of themselves, too psychologically traumatized to eat, sleep, or function in their normal lives? Hi, Kristen.
Hi.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming out and teaching me about the wondrous world of 911 emergency dispatchers.
I love the way you're saying that.
With a lot of gravitas. So what do you consider yourself? 911 operator, emergency dispatcher?
Yeah, 911 dispatcher. Just police dispatcher.
Police dispatcher.
I only do the police side, I don't do the fire side.
How long have you been working as a dispatcher?
20 years. 17 years. Yeah.
That's older than a couple people watching this. What does being a dispatcher entail?
We answer business lines, emergency lines. We're listening to the radio, which is all the officers talking, going through Google Maps, inputting all the information into the call and typing while we're talking and listening. Lots of stuff.
There's like 10 screens in front of you?
I have 6, 7, 8 screens.
I can barely focus on just watching Netflix.
Yeah.
Alone.
It's a lot.
One screen.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Do you ever find it difficult to separate your emotions that you experience at work from you when you go home?
It was, I think, pretty rough for a few years because I felt like I didn't know how to separate it and I didn't know what to do for myself. About 4 years ago, I really started to dig deep and do work on myself. And I was like, started listening to people on YouTube talking. And like motivational speeches and
see, YouTube does do a good thing every once in a while.
Does amazing things, yes.
What's the training process like to become a dispatcher?
We train on phones first, and then we train on radio, and that takes anywhere from 6 months to a year, and then we're on probation for another year after that.
Yeah, so how high is that turnover rate?
I would say maybe like 80%. Don't make it.
How often do you receive prank calls?
All the time. How many times a day or how many times an hour?
What?
All the time. All the time. I get butt dials, I get Apple Watch dials, I get people call all day. All day.
Before we learn more about the wondrous world of 911 dispatchers, I again just wanted to thank you for showing such immense support for this series. Every time you watch one of my videos, you're essentially casting a vote for more videos in this series and more topics like this to be discussed. I think these messages and the people affected by these topics are super important. So thank you for continuing to subscribe and turn on all notifications so you always see all the videos I make regardless of if YouTube's algorithm decides they want to blacklist that topic or not. We can decide what it is that we want to see. That's all I wanted to say. Now back to learning about the wondrous world of 911 dispatchers. What's the most bizarre phone call you've received?
A family member found one of their male family members having with a chihuahua.
Yeah, I called 911 too.
Yeah.
I need some help in here, please.
Yeah, I needed help after hearing that.
Yeah, you need help now. Oh my God, what?
Yeah, you get some bizarre stuff.
How often do you receive an emotionally draining phone call?
All the time, every day.
Every day?
Yeah. When it's the real serious emotional calls, like the suicidal ones or child death ones, those sit with you for a while, a long while. And some of them, you can never forget. The screams that you hear, you cannot forget. Man,
I didn't even think about the fact that you hear things happen, not just people talking about it, but you hear things happen. Yeah.
If you were to watch a horror film and you closed your eyes and pretend you were on the phone talking to whoever's
the victim in that personal scene, then that's what it's like.
I think I would have difficulty falling asleep at night.
Yeah, I mean, the first year or two, that's all I would dream about was the calls that I had gotten.
Yeah.
But as time goes on, you kind of like put it behind you and just know you did what you could do during that time, and that's all you can do.
Do you think it should be mandatory for 911 dispatchers to take some kind of therapy or have some kind of outlet for all the stresses that they endure while on the clock?
One of the things that we've done at our department is we created a quiet room. So it's a separate room away from our break room and the rest of the department. And it's just a tiny room. It's maybe like this big.
Yeah.
And it has a couch in there, something that's
So
going
it's like
on
a
in there.
peaceful place,
Yeah.
and it smells relaxing,
Yes.
and it's quiet.
A blankie,
Oh.
everything, right?
Is that like a retreat when you're
It
on
is,
the clock?
because it's a lot that's happening. And sometimes
Yeah.
you're not ready to deal with anybody else because a
Yeah.
lot just happened.
They, by law, have to offer us a private therapist that we can volunteer to go to.
Yeah.
But as of right now, it's kind of funny you say that because myself and another dispatcher are really trying to get that implemented into our dispatch policy, that we have to be sent after something like that.
So you want it to be mandatory rather
yes,
than...
and in the police law enforcement culture,
Yeah.
you're kind of looked down upon if you ask for help if something bothers you.
There's a negative
Because-
stigma
Yeah.
of wanting help?
Yeah, because we're supposed to be the helpers. We're supposed to know how to handle everything.
Yeah, but you're human.
So, yes, exactly.
Are there any common mistakes people make when calling 911 that prevents them from getting help as quickly as possible?
So when you call 911,
Yeah.
please tell us where you're at. Tell us your address. Okay, I know.
Tell the world!
Tell us where you're at, please. They watch CSI or all these other crazy shows,
Got
right?
it.
And they're like, you know where I'm at? And I'm like, no, it takes a while for me to figure out how to figure out where you're at. It's not super accurate. It's
Yeah.
a computer system.
It's triangulation between 3 different satellites, right?
Yes.
And like, that could be anywhere
go.
within a...
Just-
That could be anywhere within a range of 10 buildings, and you don't know how many levels there are to this building. You don't know how many different units there are. You don't know which areas there's a
Preach.
closet. You don't know where they... I'm just making stuff up, but is it right?
You're pretty,
Okay.
yeah, spot on.
How do you feel about the way 911 dispatchers are portrayed in, TV or movies?
So not accurate.
Not accurate? What's the biggest thing that stands
I
out?
haven't been able to get through like one full episode of, is it called that 911? And she's like always getting up and going to the scene and doing, I'm like, no, we do not get
Oh
up
wait,
out
they
of
make
our...
it look like dispatchers go to the...
Yeah, and they go and help out and like, I'm like, what is this?
Christina Lynch wants to know which call that you've been on that you've been the most proud of.
We did track down somebody who needed a medical emergency, and we ended up finding him because he didn't know where he was at. So he ended up being saved.
Oh yeah.
And then the other ones I think are the ones who are seriously suicidal that we kind of talk them out of until we get the officers there to give them the help that they need.
Natalie wants to know if the trick of calling in and ordering pizza really works.
It does not work.
Doesn't work!
It doesn't work.
The internet fooled me?
Yeah, we don't have a code in our dispatch center for pizza. So if there is a reason why you can't talk, because I have had some calls like that and
Yeah.
they've pretended to be like asking for an electrician or whatever it is. I guess it's just over time you kind of just picking up on little things. You kind
Yeah.
of you're able to read people's voices.
A Night Dancer 61 wants to know how you get through those difficult calls and what keeps you positive.
Something that we learned in one of our training classes was just breathe. Because when you're taking these calls, your adrenaline is up here and you almost forget to breathe.
Yeah. It's
And
almost
so-
like a natural human response to get quiet, lower your breath so you can focus on your surroundings and no one
Yeah.
will hear you.
Yeah.
Do you feel dispatchers get the recognition they deserve?
No.
No? What do you...
No, it would be nice to be considered first responders. They only do
Right.
that right now in Texas, and they're trying to pass a bill for it to be in California as well. So we'll see if it happens.
So what does that
But-
mean if you were considered a first responder
would
rather
get-
than a dispatcher?
Well, one, it would give us a little bit more recognition, but then we'd also be able to be supported more, like you said, for like therapy stuff, and our benefits would be a little bit better and everything too. Because right now we're considered like basically secretaries.
Oh,
So,
really? You're treated the same way as anyone else that answers a
Secretarial.
phone call.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone who's watching who wants to become a 911 dispatcher but is maybe nervous about the stress and anxiety that comes with taking such a high stakes job?
You'll know when you're there if that's for you. And you can always do a sit along. You can always call a police department and ask and see if you can come in and do a sit along during the busy hours specifically, because that will really give you a taste of what the job entails.
What do you think the biggest misconception surrounding dispatchers is?
Probably that we're cold and we don't care. And it's because when we're on the phone, like I said earlier, like I want everything like this.
Right,
And
but
when
you need
we're-
to, that's part of the job.
Right, as we're asking everything, we're immediately giving out that information to the officers. So it's like telephone, if you want me to give it out, you need to give it to me right away.
You need to be as short and to the point without emotion as you can in order to get them help as quickly as they can.
Yeah.
Phone call time. I would like to see how you sound when you talk to people that call you.
Oh my God, okay.
Yeah. Are you ready?
I will try my best.
So can you give me a common scenario that people call with?
Somebody's breaking into their car or their 5-year-old won't go to school.
Those are too common. Their
You'd be
5-year-old won't go to
surprised.
school?
Yeah.
All right. And what's the number for 911?
Oh, I've had that too.
Ring, ring.
911, what is your emergency?
Okay, I have my child next to me. They will not
Sir?
get in the car. There's
Sir?
so many things that I've been trying to do. Yes?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
What
Yes.
address do you need police at, sir?
It's 722. So my son
722? What street? You only gave me numbers.
722 Marshall Way.
Okay, is this a house, apartment?
It
or-
is an apartment. So
Okay,
my
what
son,
number, sir?
The B, apartment B.
Apartment B as in
Apartment
boy?
B as in boy.
Okay, got it. What's
B
going
as in
on
big,
with your
big
son?
boy. Big boy.
What's going on with your big boy?
My big boy, he's 5 years old. He will not go to school. It's the first day of kindergarten, and I'm very nervous
And
that if he doesn't go to his first
Sir?
day of, yes?
Okay, take a deep breath for me. You're the parent? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, this is your 5-year-old son.
Yes, my 5-year-old son will
Okay.
not get in the car
And you
to
want
go to
the police to take your son to the car?
I don't know what to do. It's a governmental requirement for a child to be in school, and I'm afraid that I am going to be taken away from my child if they don't go to school.
All right, what's his name?
His name is Marshall.
Okay, we'll head an officer over there as soon as we can to escort Marshall to school for you, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Calm down. We'll
Thank
be
you.
there as soon as we can.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Wow. You did cut through the fat, straight to the bone.
I tried.
I actually have a parting gift for
What?
you. A
I
best
love it.
interviewer shirt, which you can get at padildoshop.com. But for you, I'll give this to you for free.
I will cherish it always.
911. Yes, you must absolutely subscribe to Anthony Padilla. Thank you for calling.
All right, you got 5 seconds to shout out or promote anything you want directly into camera. Go.
You guys can follow me on Dispatcher Kristen on Instagram, or the podcast is the 911 Strong Podcast.
So you can go find me at Instagram at The Mommy Mentor, and that's where I help women all over the world.
Thank you so much, Melissa.
you. That
I feel
was
like
so much
I
fun.
fully 110% understand the wondrous world of being a 911 emergency dispatcher.
Good, I'm glad.
After spending the day with these 911 dispatchers, I've come to understand just how much patience and split-second reflexes are required for this job. And despite receiving little to no recognition for their hard work in saving people's lives, many of these dispatchers provide a sense of safety in their communities akin to a real-life superhero. See you later, bye guys.
Press a like.
Like all the things you need to know about dialing 911. That is huge.
That's the first step.
Everybody has an emergency.
I had an emergency right now in my pants.
I don't want to know. I'm not on duty. I can't help you.
Now you go with, then you had to throw in duty too?
You just made me lose my shoe.
Not okay.